Attention all convenience retail professionals. Convenience Retailing University is back. From February 24th to 26th, join CSP in Austin, Texas for 3 days of unparalleled learning, networking, and innovation. This is your opportunity to connect with top minds in the industry, explore emerging trends, and gain the tools you need to succeed in the ever-evolving world of convenience retail. Registration is filling fast. Secure your spot now. Learn more and register via the link in the description. Welcome to At Your Convenience. I'm CSP Editor Rachel Gignac, and I'm here at CSP's very first Forecourt Forum in Scottsdale, Arizona. Today, I am talking with Nicole Majkowicz from InConvenience. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, so glad to have you on. So InConvenience is a fast-growing C-store company transforming small-town retail. And Nicole is the Facilities and Fuels Director at the company, and she's leading upgrades, expansion, and new technologies, and all while keeping community and customer experience at the center of operations. So Nicole, thank you again so much for being here. It's so great to talk to you. I listened to your session yesterday, and it was really great, informative, and I learned a lot, but I have a few questions for you. So first, why don't we start off by telling our listeners kind of more about InConvenience and what the company is?
Yeah, InConvenience Inc. was born out of necessity. I can't say we went into petroleum willingly, but we sure did embrace it once we got here, and we're grateful for how welcoming the industry has been. But we had some not so great tenants from our sister company, who is a boutique brokerage. So we were doing some real estate investments. People know Mountain Oil Express, but out of that bankruptcy, we really had to figure it out quickly. We vetted some other tenants, thought we'd be in that same situation again. So why not do it ourselves? Let's do it with, convenience with conviction. That truly means do it transparently, do it the right way, do it the ethical way, use certified and insured vendors to actually fix equipment and get sites back into compliance. But really, InConvenience, we started with 3 of us. It was me doing ops, which was kind of the catch-all, Tiffany Fraley, our CEO, and then Alicia LaFollette, who is our brand director. She created the brand, and it is great. We want to make every community that we're in better. We listen to the communities we're in. I mean, the people who live in our communities are our employees, so we get that. We're right on the beat. Do we hear about things that they wish they had, like gizzards? But we try to ignore those feedbacks. But we're really just trying to make everywhere we open up a new G-Spot location better than when we left it. And we don't want to leave it ever again. I think the volatility and the turnover for these sites has been terrible the last 5 to 10 years. So we're trying to create some of that stability and a place that the community feels welcome. They can stay, they can gather. Iowa's a bit more challenging. It's a very saturated market, very populated, but we're trying to figure out how to stand out and be unique. We just finished our first remodel in Iowa. So we're excited to see what comes of that.
Yeah, awesome. So you're in Iowa, Arkansas, and
Missouri.
Okay.
Yes.
And so can you also just talk a little bit about how you've grown as a women-owned business, maybe a bit about, I know you have a fun logo and some fun names for your stores.
Yeah, we've been able to grow very organically. Well, I guess you could say it wasn't until we hit capacities, right, where we really didn't have the bandwidth to do one more thing. We were working 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when we got to those points of, I'd say, near burnout, we were like, okay, let's bring other people in. A lot of referral-based growth. Yes, we are majority women-led and run, but we do have males in our stores as store managers and associates, assistant store managers. And we do have Brent Bussin, who is on my team in particular, who oversees fuel ordering, fuel pricing, and the break fix for fuel equipment now. I do the major projects, upgrades, like you said, expansions. So InConvenience Inc. was an easy segue because we had all come from in commercial, which was, we're in commercial real estate. So we were now in the convenience business and selling fuel. And quite literally, we're like, why has no one named a gas station the gas spot?
Sure.
And then when we have just 2 convenience store locations, we're like, well, that's an easy segue into the good spot. Why not call it the G spot? We're 3 women. We take ourselves seriously at times, but not too seriously. You have to have a little bit of humor or life gets boring. And when it came to coming up with a mascot, we were always using phrases like, dang, that came in clutch, or God, that pearl of wisdom. And it just was a little bit organic.
Yeah.
But one day, Tiffany's like, why not a clam? Right? We're already the G spot.
Right.
Like, let's lean into it even more. Right? Yes, the clam alludes to some other things, but they are really good at making it, wherever they are, a better environment. I think I stated that yesterday. They can filter up to 14 liters of water a day. They build solid foundations for other ecosystems to then grow, thrive, and be successful.
Yeah.
So it just made sense for us because that's what we're trying to do, especially in the rural markets. When we first did those site visits, it's kind of scary. There's nothing there. The town didn't really have anything to be proud of. So getting involved at the county level, city level, state level, that's what we're trying to do, is make these places better and to stop this terrible industry standard of, it's almost, scheming. And it's like taking advantage of these small towns. So yeah, that's how we came up with Clutch the Clam. She's great. 3 months into having her, we did realize that her little legs kind of also allude to some products that we sell, but I can't say that because you can't have cartoons actually advertise that stuff. But no, it's a great brand. It's really cheeky. At the time of making it too, Come and Go had just gotten bought by Maverick. Right. So we saw an opening in the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the branding. It's so much fun. And go
Alicia.
So transitioning now to some forecourt upgrades that you've been doing. What upgrades have been completed? What's still to come?
The biggest project that I'm most proud of is our Tarkio, Missouri location. That was a full UST replacement, full canopy replacement, full dispensers, brand new everything from the ATG in the interior, wiring, piping. We finally did our first islandless island forms.
What does that mean?
So instead of having a curb that's reinforced with metal, which is why you see a lot of rust around dispenser islands, these are quite literally just a very slow or low grade up to the dispenser. We still have bollards, or I never say that word right, bumpers to protect the dispensers, and those are concrete filled since you don't have kind of a curb to help assist in that. But it looks cleaner. It's less maintenance down the line. And we're always trying to prevent preventive maintenance essentially. Because it's a cost that you don't really see a recoup on. You're just hemorrhaging cash. But we went from a 10,000 gallon capacity to 30,000 gallons in 4 different grades and 2 high flow diesel pumps with 3 fueling positions on those high flow diesel. So we're helping out the agricultural community. We're selling E15 there. That's how we helped offset that cost with that BIP grant. But it's hard to educate a whole community. But it's definitely lifted sales by over 1,300% in fuel, 452% inside sales without changing anything we were doing on the inside of the store. It's kind of that if you build it, they will come.
Sure.
And Phillips was a great brand partner with that. They worked with the Canopy Company, pylons, all that good stuff. And then continuing in Missouri, we replaced dispensers at Fairfax, which has increased their throughput by about 133%. Not as great of a lift, but also we didn't really change the footprint. We didn't add dispensers. We didn't change the canopy. And then in El Paso, Arkansas, we replaced 4 dispensers there. And in Nashville, Arkansas, we replaced crins on every dispenser. So 8 fueling positions, which is very expensive.
Crins? What's a crin?
The payment system.
Okay.
So essentially, instead of just replacing a pin pad or a card reader, we put new door kits on them because they had sat for over 2 years and it wasn't worth trying to repair them.
Sure.
So spend the $60,000, just do it, make sure it works. And we've had no issues except for 1 meter. But again, that's a different functional element of the pump. Those are some big upgrades. And then we're hoping to do 6 to 7 sites in Iowa.
At the forecourt, for the forecourt upgrades, what is the timeline look like for something like that? I know you said a range of different upgrades were done.
Oh, yeah.
Stores, but what's kind of like an average or for each of them?
I'd say the bidding and vetting process is 4 to 6 weeks, just so you're comparing apples to apples. It's not really fair if someone's giving you a bid for, I don't know, 2 dispensers and a 20,000 gallon tank versus the other guy's doing 6 dispensers and a 30,000 gallon. It's not comparable. So sometimes just getting the vendors to understand what we want as a retailer. So that can take that 4 to 6 weeks. And then lead times on equipment range anywhere from 6 weeks on dispensers, which is pretty short when you're getting new ones, to 16 weeks on tanks. And that's depending on getting them here into the country, to be honest.
Okay.
So we were able to get Turkio done. The whole project was probably 8 months long. But from the time we dug out the old tanks to reopening the site, Seneca was able to get that done in 90 days.
Oh, wow.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah, for sure. And yesterday you mentioned getting some grants for these upgrades. Can you speak a little bit about how you found them, what exactly you're using and stuff?
Yeah. So I think having more than just a professional relationship with your vendor is important. Like, get to know them as a person. They get to know you. It really helps if they've owned and operated their own sites so they can speak from experience.
Sure.
But people who live in the marketplace that they are doing work in, or they're part of these regulatory committees, like Fuel Iowa is a big one, and they bring up those opportunities for smaller retailers. So our vendor is the one who told us about it. When I started trying to write it, it was very intimidating, very overwhelming. I was almost at the point of paying someone to do it because I was a one-man band at the time. And then Seneca also introduced us to Growth Energy, who does it at no cost to the retailer, which was phenomenal. They dedicated probably 60 hours of their time just to help me write that grant. And we were awarded $1.842 million. So it's huge to offset cost. And our connections through Growth Energy that introduced us to contacts at the MASBDA, because those sites that I wanted to include on the federal grant level would not have gone through. So they advised us, drop it, try doing a state level grant. Much easier approval process, much easier to write. And they even gave me someone else who helped me write that grant for free.
Oh, wow.
So they're contracted through government agencies, and they get contracting fees based on how many people apply with them. But yeah, in Missouri, they awarded us $500,000.
Oh my gosh.
So when you...
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, the total project was $1.3 million, so it's a huge offset of that cost. And our ROI looks much better on paper now that we've gotten so much money back already from that grant.
Yeah. And so what's something that you've learned from the past upgrades that you've done on the forecourt that you are going to incorporate into your strategy in the future? I
think looking at not just new equipment, we started utilizing refurbished as well, which is usually no one will recommend that. Obviously, not a Wayne, not a Dover, not a Gilbarco, because they want you to buy the newer, the best pumps, latest software, all that stuff. And it is to keep up with the times and everyone else's POS integrations and all this other technology that's coming out. But if you can work with a vendor, like we used Petroleum Parts Incorporated for Fairfax and El Paso, and they typically don't warranty payment systems because of the high usage and the abuse to them. You can't help a kid sticking a popsicle stick in your card reader, right? So just asking. It's always no if you don't ask. And we learned very early on we had to be our own advocate, or people would take advantage of us very quickly because of our lack of knowledge. So being able to work with my account manager, and I was like, listen, if you can extend that warranty to the payment system and not just the functional elements of the pump, you got a deal. And they're half the cost of new. All you have to pay for is the hanging hardware and the install, which it's still, that ends up coming out to probably 60% of the cost of new.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I guess I never really thought about using something that's used or refurbished.
Yeah, and you can work with those refurb companies that you want a pump that's, the elements are at least less than 5 years old. So some of these Wayne dispensers were less than 3 years old. They're basically
new.
And your Wayne and Gilbarco warranties, like the manufacturer warranties, are usually a year So if I can get the same thing with a refurb, why not save $40,000?
Yeah, that's great advice too. So another thing I wanted to ask is, how have these upgrades affected customer loyalty or in-store sales?
They've increased all in-store sales across every site we've upgraded. So that's always reassuring that we're not throwing all that money out into the ether and never seeing a recoup on it. Torquio, again, biggest accomplishment, that's 400+% increase in inside sales without changing anything. Fairfax actually was already kicking butt inside. They have a great food program, but there's not even another restaurant in town. So it's kind of a captured audience. They have nowhere else to go. But the rewards through Phillips is where we're seeing the benefit. So not to poo-poo our brand partner in Iowa, sometimes those rebate checks are $35. Was it even worth?
Right.
Putting all these decals up and all that other jazz, where our first rebates from Phillips were over $3,500. So yeah, I'd say getting gas flowing at a Fairfax, at El Paso, at Nashville, and at Tarkio has been very beneficial.
Yeah.
And Phillips is a great brand partner. They make it easy. They give you a lot of marketing tools, speaking points. So it's easy for us to educate the employee, who can then educate the customer and actually walk them through how to download the apps.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'd say upgrading those forecourts was essential to getting rebates. But now knowing that you have dependable equipment and a site that's always going to have fuel, now we're driving that traffic inside, because we're advertising on the pumps what our promos are in store. So they're going in for that 2-for-4 hot dog deal and the 99-cent fountain. And then we're able to push our other loyalty programs, like with Wingman Pizza or our coffee club that we just launched.
Yeah. So all very connected.
Very much so. I think utilizing pump toppers, utilizing the media screens, not just signing the contract for the media and letting the dispensers or Phillips decide what's going to be on your ad space, because you get 50% of it. So use it.
Yeah. Awesome. So inconvenience is acquired the right word? Or
so our sister company InCommercial. Yeah. So I would say our sister company acquired these sites for an investment fund.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Mountain Oil Express and Squirrel ceased to exist within 6 months of each other. And those 15 properties were in the same fund. So in order to not piss off a bunch of investors, we had to figure that out quickly. But I don't know if that's the story we want to tell.
Okay.
But I guess we're not trying to do sale leasebacks to get cash infusions.
Okay. I don't understand any of this.
I know, it's so odd.
But it's fine.
Their commercial real estate business is weird.
That's a lot. But I think my question is just mostly from these C-stores that used to be there, how are you ensuring that the same thing doesn't happen with inconvenience?
Yeah, so slow growth, organic growth, just like that's how we've grown our team. That's how we plan to grow our footprint. I don't believe we will continue to grow in heavily populated, gentrified areas. It's just not really aligned with our brand. It really is going into these underfunded, underappreciated communities and creating a space that really gives back to the school districts, to sports teams, just to our employees in general. Pattonsburg, Missouri does a angel tree. So for families who are less fortunate and can't afford Christmas gifts, it's a way for our patrons to pick a little tree off.
That's nice.
Buy a gift for a family in need. We're going to expand into that rural market. Missouri and Arkansas is where we'd like to grow next, and fill in some of that geographic white space is what I call it. When you have to drive 2 hours from one location to the other and you're not hitting another stop, it's not great, and it's very difficult for that district manager to manage that region. So those are two factors we look at when we're going to start expanding.
Got it. Okay. Well, is there anything else that we missed that you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
covered a lot.
Just, an ever-growing.
Right.
Regulations are patchworked, I think was a great way to describe it. The federal compliance rules change pretty frequently, but then the state ones are just all over the place. No one's consistent. It's very difficult to stay compliant because you're like, wait, am I in Texas or Arkansas?
Yeah, definitely.
And who requires what? But no, I think we touched on everything.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. This was awesome.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Nice chatting. Thank you for listening to At Your Convenience. I'm Rachel Gignac, and I was here today with Nicole Majkowicz from InConvenience. Thank you so much for joining us. Find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attention all convenience retail professionals. Convenience Retailing University is back. From February 24th to 26th, join CSP in Austin, Texas for 3 days of unparalleled learning, networking, and innovation. This is your opportunity to connect with top minds in the industry, explore emerging trends, and gain the tools you need to succeed in the ever-evolving world of convenience retail. Registration is filling fast. Secure your spot now. Learn more and register via the link in the description.